Clause grants citizenship to all born in the United States, and the only meaningful exception today is for the children of consular officials. The Citizenship Clause was intended to remove the stain of Dred Scott from our Constitution, the Supreme Court decision that held citizenship turned solely on race and ancestry and not birthplace. In 1868, the nation rejected Dred Scott. And when discussing this addition to the Constitution, the Reconstruction Congress explicitly stated that it wanted to provide citizenship to the 4 million formerly enslaved Americans and the children of immigrants arriving from around the globe, have been brought into this country in violation of the law, because laws after 1808 prohibited the international slave trade. These were the illegal aliens of the day, and thus it is wrong, as Mr. O'Brien just stated, to say that there wasn't such a thing as an undocumented or illegal alien at the time. The Reconstruction Congress well knew there was, and of course intended to grant those people citizenship. That is why President Trump's executive order has been rejected by every federal court that has addressed it over the last month, 5 and counting, and these judges have been scathing. Federal Judge John Kunauer, appointed to the bench by Ronald Reagan, described the executive order as blatantly unconstitutional. Federal Judge Joseph LaPlante, a George W. Bush appointee, enjoined the executive order on the ground that, quote, it contradicts the text of the 14th Amendment and the century-old, untouched precedent that interprets it. These judges have concluded that the Trump administration's arguments in favor of the executive order are ahistorical, atextual, and illogical, also inconsistent with the order itself. For that reason, I'm not going to spend any more of my time here discussing the meaning of the Citizenship Clause, which is detailed in my text of my written statement, and I'm happy to answer questions. But instead, I'm going to move on and talk about the devastating consequences of this executive order for the 3.5 million American families who every year welcome a new child into their family. The executive order claims the power unilaterally to rewrite the Constitution. That alone is disturbing enough. In doing so, it excludes hundreds of thousands of newborn children from citizenship, including the children of immigrants who came legally to the United States. All of these newborn children would be declared undocumented immigrants from the moment they are born. Some would be born stateless, and all would be at risk of being deported away from their parents, denied all the rights and privileges of citizenship at the most vulnerable moment of their new lives. Worse, if this were to go into effect, it would not be limited to the people carved out by the executive order, that is, the children of undocumented immigrants and the children of temporary immigrants. It would affect all Americans, every single person giving birth to a child going forward. All would now have to produce paperwork proving their status, their citizenship, their green card status at the time of the child's birth. And as an immigration lawyer, I will tell you, for many people, that is not easy. I thought this was a committee that favored limited government. This is expanding the federal bureaucracy and the paperwork burdens on these families, hospitals, state agencies, and overburdened immigration officials, as I said, at the most sensitive moments of these people's lives. As explained, the executive order is not only unconstitutional, it is not only a terrible policy, it also conflicts with fundamental American values. We are a nation that rejects the test of ancestry and lineage, and we prefer instead to grant citizenship based on birthplace. That's a choice we've made well over a century ago. To be born in America is to be born an equal citizen. America is excellent at integrating the children of immigrants into our society. It is one of our great strengths. All Americans should be proud that in 1868, the nation rejected Dred Scott and reclaimed citizenship based on location of birth, not lineage and ancestry, welcoming the children of immigrants. We must never go back.
Let me be very clear. Donald Trump's
Let me just give you some information on who your president is. Your president comes from a German and Scottish lineage. His father, Fred Trump, born in New York, to German immigrant parents. Okay. Frederick Trump, which is his father, grandfather, born in 1869 to 1918, immigrated to the U.S. in 1885. At that time, they had open immigration policies. let's talk about his mother, Donald Trump's mother. Mary Ann Trump, born in 1912, passed away in 2000. She actually migrated to the United States in 1930 with the work visa, by the way. And then once she married Fred Trump, 1936, was naturalized in 1942. Now, Mr. President, your family is of immigrants as well. European immigrants, right? That settled in the U.S. in the late 19th and 20th century. Mr. President, your threat to remove birthright citizenships for children of immigrants is kind of an unfair order coming from you, especially when your excuse is saying that children from illegal immigrants shouldn't receive citizenship because their parents owed no alliance to the United States or had no alliance to the United States. But where's your alliance to the United States? There's something that I found out here, that Mr. President, you had 5 deferments to not join the military. And this is during the Vietnam War. You had 4 deferments for college education, right? And you had 1 medical deferment. I believe it was bone spurs or something like that. And from what I recall, you received that excuse from one of your dad's tenants who owned a medical practice. And did your dad, or did you, Mr. President, a favor of writing a note to the military to now excuse you from entering the Vietnam War? Where's your patronage? Where's your pride? Why do you get off with not going to serve your military or serve your country, yet you are threatening to remove citizenships from people born in the United States? What's the deal here?